Hi, I'm Lynn Ripplemeyer. I'm a captain at Continental Airlines, presently flying a 737, and one of my favorite routes is to go down to Tegucigalpa, Honduras. I first heard about medical bridges through a charity golf tournament that they were having. A friend of mine who works in an office that was invited to join in knew that I liked playing golf and knew that I was also interested in taking medical and clothing supplies down to this clinic in Honduras and thought it would be a great fit. In talking to Dorothy, I told her about the clinic that I was presently taking clothing and shoes to, and that they could definitely use the medical supplies, and she suggested they fill out one of the applications and submit it, and then I would be able to take the medical supplies down to them, and that's what we did. It worked out great. After Medical Bridges received the application from the clinic, it's called His Eyes, because initially it was started out as an optometry clinic, and now they've added a medical doctor and a dentist. But so down at the His Eyes clinic, they submitted this application, and Medical Bridges was able to fill it. Dorothy got the supplies to me, and then I hand carried them down on my next trip. As a working crew member, I'm able to have the same regulations that a revenue passenger has, and I'm able to take down that same amount of luggage, or in this case boxes, on a space available basis. So when we would have room on the plane, I would add the boxes, and then once I got there, give the missionaries who met the plane the claim checks, and they were able to take all the supplies through customs and security and take them to the clinic. I've been going there for about 7 years now. I'll go once a week in August. The first time I went was mostly to see how the supplies were being used, to make sure that they weren't being misused or abused or sold on the black market. My church had started donating large quantities of everything that we needed, so I was taking down probably about 100 pounds of clothing and shoes once a week, and now we were adding these medical supplies. But then through the years I got to know the missionaries down there, so part of the going down each week would be to visit them, watch their growing family, watch the clinic change from just being this eye clinic to, like I said, including the doctor and a dentist, and now they've got a brand new clinic. So this last year that I went down was sort of a follow-up on what's been happening every year. We would help Trevor unpack a lot of the supplies that had come down on containers and take them to the outlying villages. They take supplies to about 12 different villages, 3 in each one of the 4 directions. Tegucigalpa, the capital's in the middle of the country, so they have a large territory to choose from. And we would do clothing distributions, corn distributions. We'll spend 3 or 4, sometimes 5 days there, and then we go over to my favorite spot in the world, Roatan, which has got a beach. So we combine the work vacation with a rest R&R vacation. But I do remember the very first time I went down there was probably the most traumatic. I think anytime you see a country like that for the first time, it hits you the hardest. And that time there was a medical brigade that came down. One of the things that the clinic does, or the missionaries do down there, is set up a place for organizations called FAME to send medical doctors or dentists or eye brigades down. In this case it was a medical brigade. And we went to one of the villages. We had doctors, physicians assistants, pharmacists, and this was the only medical help that this village was going to see for a year. So everybody was lined up. They would choose some clothing from the clothing distributions that we had while they were waiting, but everybody got a medical check, 6 months worth supply of vitamins and worm medicine. Because of the poor water quality, most of them have worms. And it was just heart-wrenching to see the need, the medical need that these people had. And the one gentleman, while we were there, I guess went into diabetic shock or some kind of reaction, and if we wouldn't have been there, he would have died. And I just had to wonder, how often that would happen and what a difference this kind of effort can make. I do this because it can make a difference, and I think we need to take the opportunities that come to us where we can make a difference seriously, and accept them, receive them. I don't know, as a pilot, I guess I feel very fortunate Well, Richard Bach has a line I like. It says, those of us that are lucky enough to fly have our debts to pay. And I think all of us, especially in this country, we're so fortunate. And we can give back. And when the opportunities come to give back, we need to take them. And this is easy. I'm going anyway. If there's space on the airplane, I get to take it with me. The process, as I've worked through it, has worked out. So there's a little bit of effort, but it's so much huge reward. I guess the short answer, it makes me feel good. Probably a more philosophical answer is we need to connect. I think we're born with a need to connect, and on an individual basis, but on a grander basis. And I think when we're disconnected, we don't feel good. We've kind of got a diseased feeling. When we do connect, the larger we connect, the more at peace we are, the happier we are with ourselves, the more we accomplish, the more we get out of life. That's what it's for. This has changed me, I think, in that way. It gives me a place where I can give easily, with a good feeling to people that I enjoy working with. I feel like I am making a difference. I'll be able to leave the world a better place for being able to have given something, and that peace that comes with that gets to be mine then.